people always say that they don't like the sound of their own voice. And when I recorded my first audiobook, I tell you, that was one of the most difficult things I ever did. Okay. And I was staying with a friend, and it was great because she would go off and do something, and I would go and work on the audiobook for an hour, you know. And if she hadn't been there in the other room, I don't think I would have done it, you know. And it was the energy was so supportive. And I literally was sitting there, and I was like, I was fighting so hard with myself. And every time I heard like a breath or something like that on the recording, I was like, oh, the way I speak is so awful, and I sound disgusting, and why do I make that funny noise? And it was all that, and I was like, just do it, just do it, just do it, because they're never going to accept this book anyway. When I upload this, then I'm going to get rejected, so just do it. Just It's an exploration, it's an experiment. Just do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. And when I submitted it and it was accepted, I was like, whoa, and I carried on. And the thing is, a lot of it is about repetition. We do the things that are really uncomfortable for us, and at a certain point you go, I like this, I enjoy this, so why do I make this so hard for myself? And that's when the answers to that question come up. And it doesn't matter what we're doing. It doesn't have to be an audiobook. It's living into the feel, something I'm being pulled to, but I'm afraid of. Okay, so I'm taking a step in that direction, and as I do it, those feelings come up. And one of the things that we have to do in that space is to grieve. Very often there are pockets of grief, things that we've never accepted, and I remember I'd all set up to record another audiobook in my house, and my mum and my brother came over, and they were looking at it. Was crazy. I had an umbrella, I had a blanket over the umbrella, to do some sound, it was all this thing, and they were just laughing at it. And when they went, I felt that sort of rawness of how every time I went to sit down and do it, I had to do 10 rounds with myself. And that connection there was like, Pearl, you know what this is about. Within you what this is about. And in that moment, I was just like, okay, you can see this now, and it's out there, and it's like you can kind of almost laugh at it because they're laughing at it. And I think one of the biggest things in terms of when we're dealing with that survivor guilt is always to think about, when we bring those people into it, even if they passed away, we bring those people in, and what would they think of this? And we know that they would laugh, and they would say, oh, just do what you love, just enjoy your life, just get on with it. But a lot of times, until we start to unravel it, it just seems so confusing and so murky. But as we live through, it's like all of a sudden we kind of get these pockets where things become obvious, and it really is just walking that walk. And as we walk, and also like we realize the next time, once we have that realization, the next time we have that feeling, we go, I know this isn't a real feeling, or I know that this isn't a real root, that this is like, I made up a story that somehow I was responsible because I was doing so well, then something bad happened to him. So when we feel that again, we say, you know what, this isn't real. We know this isn't real. And it really does help us to move past through that. I hope that answers that. It's a really thorny one, thorny.